Hello everybody, hope you're doing really well. I'm spoilt today because I am looking over at Romney Marsh and it is a simply stunning day today. Like, you can see for miles and miles and miles. You can pretty much see the whole marsh from here. Today's very special because we're covering a place that in the history of Kent, in its timeline, this ruin, although a slight ruin, contains a fascinating historical legacy and a story which you need to watch and see for yourself. But Elizabeth Barton, incredible story. Stay tuned for that, and I'll of course see you on the other side. Let's go. Situated in Court Up Street overlooking Romney Marsh lies a beautiful ruin with a fascinating story to tell. Noted as starting life it would be during the medieval period around the 12th century as a two-cell chapel built of local ragstone. It would have been in existence alongside a former fortified manor house, but as time and decay took hold, the abode became well known by a local hermit who would reside in there. It would be from 1525 when the Chapel of Our Lady enjoyed a revival of fortune, connected with Elizabeth Barton, the Holy Maid of Kent, and became a place of pilgrimage. The chapel would become a single cell building, and with that, the story of this now ruined chapel took its place in local Kent history, because Elizabeth Barton really was a fascinating woman. Elizabeth was, for all intents and purposes, just a run-of-the-mill servant born in 1506, but it was as a teenager when she was providing visions that would become eerily accurate. She soon resided in the chapel and started public healing, which gave her an increased sense of attention, which gave fame to her. A staunch Catholic, Elizabeth turned against Henry VIII when it was clear he would have his marriage to Catherine of Aragon annulled. She soon began prophesying that if Henry remarried, he would die within a few months, even though the king actually lived for a further 15 years. With her constant outbursts and defiance to the king, her reputation was undermined. Labelled as a false prophet whose influence was starting to gain momentum, the Crown soon arrested Barton. It would be on the 20th of April 1534 Elizabeth Barton was hanged at Tyburn for treason. She was 28 years old. 5 of her chief supporters were also executed alongside her, with her head being put on a spike on London Bridge. She is the only woman in history to receive that dishonour. The chapel would, from the 16th century onwards, become popular for pilgrimage, and her mark on history would be sealed forever, being known as the Maid of Kent, or the Mad Maid of Kent. So, as for the chapel itself, well, like in its first phase, time and decay would again take its toll, but what remains are the stories it's told and its amazing reminder of its incredible part on history's timeline. And hopefully with a video like this, it will never be forgotten. Hello, so welcome back. What an interesting ruin now, because obviously it's part of a World War II pillbox, which I didn't mention in the history lesson because actually I've never been here before. I didn't know what the condition was going to be like, but it is very interesting. So I'm assuming we can explore that as well. It's covered in steam that was all around here, though I didn't bring a torch with me. But look at this. I'll tell you what, it might go down as the best view in Kent. Let's have a look in here. Oh, God blimey. I'll tell you what, we'll start non-ruin wise, and this is seen better days, but wow, the condition's actually really good. Look at that, the original concrete mountings for the guns, for the machine guns. Loads and loads of litter in here, though. I'm absolutely surprised at how much litter there is in here. Semi-modern stuff as well. Lots of energy drinks. There's even, oh there you go, Don't drop your litter, take it home. Remarkable. 73rd Regiment Scouts. Oh, Scouts, there you go, 1984. Huh. Preserve wildlife. Pickle a squirrel today, very funny. Stop pollution, eat pigeons. Some really quite funny anecdotes here. Old soldiers never die. They send the young in to do that. Somebody clearly had a lot of time on their hands, because that handwriting looks very similar to other stuff. But this is our pillbox, which really I was amazed that is in the condition it's in. So that's kind of cool. Nice little bonus. Although, like I said, there's a skull there, some creature, badger or fox maybe, that's quite large. It's our pillbox, which I didn't realise would be in such good condition, but it sums up the idea of how important this would have been on the Romney Marsh area. And we've talked about Romney Marsh and World War II. We've spoken about that in increments on our channel. Our channel? It's all of our channel, isn't it? Feelings History. So you can see its importance though when it's overlooking this. I've just got to say, look at this. I mean, it's just remarkable, that view. Isn't that just the best? And it's so quiet. Look at that. Heaven with the gate shut with this view, I tell you. See the farmers down there as well, ploughing away. Sorry, I'm just contemplating to myself how beautiful that is. It's rare that you get to see Romney Marsh in this sort of completeness, really. There aren't many views that are going to give you that. I'm surprised. And this will definitely be one that I won't forget. Look at that. You can see the coastline so clearly. You can see the marsh in all its distinctness. And the way that farmers you can see the way that farmers have put hedges across their fields to segregate each section so clearly. Obviously not much on the marsh itself, but you just see, look at that, all those tree lines. Amazing. Isn't that brilliant? Right, well, we're getting distracted here. We've actually come here to visit the chapel, so let's have a look. Come on. So here we are in the chapel itself. As you noted in your history lesson, originally this was a 2-cell, and then what happened was it got moved to a singular cell. And obviously now, look at this, there's still a beautiful shrine here. Look at this. Isn't that special? So, as it said, pilgrims in the 16th century onwards would come here and visit in the name of Elizabeth Barton, the Maid of Kent, Mad Maid of Kent. She went by many names. I know in the history lesson we probably only covered a couple. But it all happened here. The healings, the premonitions, majority of them, obviously not the early premonitions, but most of it happened here. And then we get that terminology, the Maid of Kent, the Mad Maid of Kent. First recognition really of people who were born and bred in Kent and then started to prophesy over stuff and then became famous, really. It's remarkable. And yet this simple, humble ruin doesn't do the justice of what that story really encapsulates. And if we just walk round, I think you saw it already, there was a blocked off part there. Just it's weird actually. I actually like the smell of sheep droppings, but there's a lot here. It's a bit too overpowering for me. They've all moved down there, as you can see. But look at this. Isn't that special? Made of ragstone. Obviously, again, I'm just spouting out really what you sort of knew in your history lesson. It's just one of these places that I've known about for a very long time, and it's just trying to time it so you get beautiful weather so you can come here. The biggest surprise, however, was the Pillbox, which I knew was here, but to actually understand that it was in the condition it's in, it's remarkable. But beautiful ragstone. Amazing how it's just held up even now over time. And we've seen lots of ruins, chapels and churches all across Kent, mostly in the Romney Marsh area, because we know that obviously they were sort of plague villages, these tiny little communities. Obviously in this case it was slightly different. You know, I'd seen rack and ruin a couple of times. But isn't this just spectacular for just a ruin? And you wouldn't know if you'd come here that this, except for that shrine man giving it away, this was any form of religious connotation, because it actually looks like a little medieval pen or medieval barn. There's no indication that there's any religious aspect to this, but you've got to imagine that people have taken pilgrimage from all over to come here. And then when they look at this view, especially on a day like this, because again, most of what you're looking at, obviously it's the marsh, so the sea, excluding where the sea came in and out, let's just take that as a given. The actual undulation of the landscape hasn't changed. You know, geographically what we're looking at is pretty much identical, except, like I said, you just got to take away the sea and where the sea came in, ignore that, but just incredible. And then you've got this natural ridge line that just curves around, dominating, which again is perfect for that pillbox because it's got a huge field of fire. More importantly, it's got a huge viewpoint as well, which is fantastic. And again, we've actually done the World War II observation post on Romney Marsh. We've done a couple on that area, but one really special one, which is on the Kent side, which we spoke about before. Obviously, it's in pivotal importance. You know, and obviously during World War II, you can imagine all those doodle bugs that were coming over and hitting. But the irony is, again, we get sidetracked by the fact that we're here to visit this, for all intents and purposes, insignificant ruin, and yet so important. So I suppose the question to all of you out there, especially if you're from Kent, is it really that important, this ruin? Can't we preserve it even more? Can we not try and shine any more light on this as something being hugely culturally significant in Kent's historical timeline? Because I could argue the fact that it is. You know, Elizabeth Barton is so well known to most people if you historically understand how that all came about, and the fact that it really did sort of like her beliefs really challenged the culture at the time, and obviously Henry VIII himself. But remarkable. I'm annoyed at the amount of rubbish that's in that pillbox, but then it all gets made up when you look at this. Just humble little place that serves so much history. So if you're from Kent, you might want to check this, honestly spread this word out for this video, because I think actually I don't normally do that, but I think in the significance of this, is this one of the most famous ruins that we have in Kent? I'm probably going to put my own 10 pence worth in and say it definitely is. It probably might be the most important, knowing how, when you take back just that one person, Elizabeth Barton. And if it wasn't for her, this would have all been forgotten about. And then again, before that, we knew that there was a hermit who would live here. Again, not uncommon. Just incredible. Really is. What? What an incredible place for such a tiny ruin. Is it the most important ruin that we have in Kent? I'm not going to argue, and I'm going to say it probably is, you know. It's been long overdue on my channel. I'm just finally grateful. One, I've got the weather to do it, and second of all, that just to actually like finally document it is so important for me, because it is so important on Kent's historical timeline, this tiny little place. Thank you so much for coming along with me. I really hope you enjoyed this sort of mini video, and I'll take a look into one of the most beautiful areas of Kent that we have. Thank you so much for your time, your patience, and hopefully you got towards obviously watching this end part here. Obviously, if it wasn't for you lot out there, I wouldn't be doing this channel, so thank you so much for spreading the word of the channel, clicking that like button, etc, etc. It really goes a long way. It helps me motivate myself to keep doing more videos like this and to cover some amazing little hidden secrets that we have in Kent that really are bigger than they seem. In the immortal words of Phoenix history, because history matters, and doesn't it just does, doesn't it, on this one? We can't argue that one. And yeah, I will of course see you all very soon. Look after yourselves, everybody. And if you can, spread the word of this video. Really could go a long way to obviously cementing Kent's history. I know a few people have covered it, but like I said, let's just keep spreading the word of how important this place is. Take care, everybody. You know the drill by now. Kapow.